What is going on, Silver Squad? My name is RJ,
I'm Hero Harrison.
I'm Dr. J.
Gerald.
And I'm Desiree.
and we are the Silver Side. Welcome. Today, we're going to be breaking down season one of Cross, which is now streaming on Amazon Prime, and is about Detective Alex Cross, a decorated DC homicide detective and forensic psychologist who faces a sadistic serial killer. He and his partner, John Sampson, track this killer, and a threat from Cross's past appears with ill intent. So, let's just talk about our overall thoughts real quick. Jay, what did you think about the overall plot of Cross, Hero Harrison?
Honestly, it was intriguing. It was a really compelling story. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. Dr. Jay?
I loved it. It's definitely right up my alley of like binge-worthy shows. I felt like they had just enough episodes, and I feel like they stopped it at a point that it could segue into a season two. I thought it was very thorough, really good writing, and I am a big fan of both of the main characters. So
Yeah, all right. Joe?
Yeah, I was a fan from the jump. It was very smart. Um, there was some elements in there that kind of dragged a little bit for me, but overall, it was definitely something refreshing from what had been thrown out before with the Alex Cross films or the book adaptations. Since this was something a little bit more fresh, I definitely was on board.
All right. That's right.
For me, I really loved the plot. It was very intriguing, mysterious. There were, like Gerald said, some elements that kind of did drag on a bit, but overall, I really liked it.
Yeah, I feel like I share you guys' opinion where I really enjoyed the show overall. I think that it's 10. I believe, I was about to say Idris Elba, but I believe Aldous Hodge as Cross more than I believe Tyler Perry. And I feel like it was such a strong showing of like a strong black man, doing what he has to do to, be excellent at his job, be a family man and exhibit that strength. I think that the characterization of Aldous Hodge as Alex Cross definitely came across probably in the best light that I've seen that character since James Patterson's books on Cross.
I definitely think it's a great portrayal of Alex Cross. No offense to Tyler Perry, but just I think this is more rooted and grounded in naturalism, and it just felt like you felt a little bit more connected. And I like how you mentioned the family aspect because I think that was important to show that as well, and how just like things can still get hectic no matter what the situation is.
Yeah,
Yeah. He
same.
played he played closer to Morgan Freeman's mentality
Yeah,
of the character, but what they did with all of what they did with Morgan Freeman and even Tyler Perry to an extent, they tried to make Tyler Perry more of the central figure.
hmm
I think Morgan Freeman's character was more of a complimentary piece in the other movie because he played next to someone. So that's why I guess there was really no major family element. That's what I really did like about this one though, because they were able to tell a different type of story that was unique from the books themselves. So you didn't have anything to really um, hold a mirror up to.
mm.
Yeah,
How
I really like how they played toward like his flaws. They really showed his flaws as a main character, um, because I think as Black actors, we have this thing where we feel like a character. Well, maybe it's not us as actors, but just the writers in general. Because you are Black, sometimes you can't show certain things because of stereotypes or whatever it may be. For this character in particular, I love seeing his flaws as a Black man. I loved seeing how imperfect he was and how hard he tried to be there for his children while also balancing a career. It showed a lot of like the balancing aspect of him trying to be a good father, be a good detective, and to be a great partner in some aspects. So really,
I agree. I think when I watch shows, I just love when they pull in the educational aspect because one of the first scenes it showed that he had a PhD and just off record, it's only 7.5% of Black people in the US have a PhD, right? So
Yeah.
I feel like when they bring in those aspects, I think it just shows like, a different form of the character, and it shows like the layers behind it. Like he's not just a detective, he's not just some guy that works at the police station. He's actually properly educated. He knows his craft in the show and he knows how to do his job. So I
I think
definitely
this
layers.
So I think that's probably the most important thing that I noticed about the shows right off the bat. He was competent, and even with him being who he was and the competency that he brings to his role as detective and doctor of psychology, the fact that they still didn't believe him, the fact that they still didn't take his word, and as Black people in both corporate in settings, a lot of times we're not a lot of times our advice or our our expertise kind of falls on deaf ears, and it just was unique to kind of see him fighting the uphill battle with the people that are supposed to be fighting alongside him. I think just the way everything unfolded and crescendoed into the ending, I felt like the pacing of the series definitely was well done, and I think it kept me engaged because I've been trying to watch Cross for a while, and I don't know why it just never crossed my mind. But
I see
I
what
don't
you
know
did.
why it ever. I don't know why it took me so long. It didn't cross my mind to kind of like just really focus on it. But when I finally did watch it, I was mad at myself for taking so long to watch it. Hence
Mhm.
why we're doing the review in January, and it came out in November.
Right.
One thing I just want to say to sum it up. I think I really like how they normalize a show where it doesn't feel like it's just a Black show. It felt like a guy who was betrayed. It felt like someone who was in just a
Mhm.
world that existed, and they brought in all those dynamics that Jay mentioned, and Des and Gerald as well, because I think that's so important to normalize things like that, just to say that hey, there are other people out there that exist, not just because he's Black. He's just a person who's been through something, because that's also important to show the media that it's not always going to be, things aren't just always Black. It's just about a person going through something, that he's in a situation in any form, like Jay was mentioning, he could be a cop, he could be a lawyer, whatever it is. So and anything can happen to anyone. So I really like that, how they normalize that in some ways.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, but the thing is though, is for me, um, being that it was a predominantly Black cast, it kind of shed some light on the idea that there can be forms of entertainment that are put out there for people to understand that we can do what everybody else does. It doesn't have to be a smart show because it's a non-Black person doing it or somebody with a British accent doing it, and that's it.
Mhm.
Even the way they had him think internally, but they had him kind of doing like, I don't know if y'all remember the old school MacGyver, how he would explain stuff out in his head and you
Yeah.
watching it happen in real time. And I remember my older brother, he's an engineer back in the day. He said, a lot of that stuff is pretty true. He said, of course, some of it's TV magic, but a lot of it's true. So when he was working out those details in his head, it made me feel like the the Sherlock Holmes when Robert Downey Jr. was explaining what he was going to do,
Yeah.
and things like that. So when he was breaking down some of those elements of whatever the crime or whatever he was trying to kind of conceive in his mind on how it was working, it worked for him, but it caused a lot of issues for him in the community because they are, I mean, unfortunately, they are Black and white. There is bureaucracy. There are all these things that happen behind the curtain that he's not always privy to.
Yeah.
Now, I do like that they kind of shed a lot of light on that stuff because they go to the boss and say something, and then the boss will be like, "Yeah, but hey man, the primaries are coming up, so we gotta sit on this." Or, "Hey, I need this because of this." And so there's a lot of handshaking and different things that were happening that he had to kind of go through the muck. So,
And I think it's important that they show him navigating that because there's a duality in him being a Black detective,
correct.
or even being Black in law enforcement. Period. There was a duality to that, and I love the fact that we got to see them play on that with the first murder that kind of started the chain reaction, and you kind of can see how um, he's conflicting. How it conflicts with every aspect of his life, because in every aspect of his life, he's both a law enforcement officer and a Black man. So it just came to play in every situation he was at. Even when he was at the dinners, he kind of did look at a place as being one of the few Black people there. So for me, I think the show does a good job in the writing as far as like giving characters like actual fleshed out lives and not just this is who they are while they're on screen. You kind of felt like even down to Nana Mama. I love that name, by the way. Like I don't know. It was cool. I've never heard of a Nana Mama, but even the fact that you got like a little nickname for your grandma, like that, you know, that's black. That's some black stuff right there. You know,
That's some black stuff. Yeah.
Nana Mama is given black. I've never heard that either. I thought it was cute. I think I had to like rewind. I said, "What did he say?" Then I was like, "Oh, I get it." When they did the childhood flashback and who raised him, I was like, "I get it."
Yeah.
Yeah, I just usually call my grandma Ma.
Hey.
Yeah. Mine is grandma, or my mom's mama call her Nana, but not no Nana Mama. That's black.
Yeah, mine's is Mima on my dad's side because we're Creole, and then on my mom's side is Big Mom.
Okay.
Yeah, but I do like that Gerald highlighted how Alex was able to process and analyze the information from the investigation. It kind of gave me Limitless. I think he used to like take a pill on the show, and then he would like analyze all the data, and just you would be in his inner thoughts. That's what Alex Cross gave me every time he came across just the slightest information.
Yeah. Everything mattered. And I think that was important. And it's sort of like if you're not, this is why I really want everybody to watch the show, because it's one of those intelligent shows that kind of makes you think, but not too far ahead. Like with From, you come up with every single possible scenario that you can in your head because the show is crazy. But with Cross, you're kind of watching at the same time, hoping that you get to be the one to kind of solve it with him. To me, this is one of those kind of interactive shows to where like you don't mind sitting and watching, you also don't mind trying to figure out who's who.
I feel like this show, one aspect I also liked about the show was all of the plot twists. And I feel like there's so many Easter eggs dropped throughout all the episodes that you really got to like lock in and look at all the little details. And for me, as a certified binge watcher, sometimes I just run through shows. Like I'm like 10 seasons, 82 episodes, let me run through it back to back. But with Cross, I don't think, even though it's binge worthy, I think it's one of those shows that you got to digest it slowly.
It's an easy rewatch, though.
It is an easy rewatch, but I think that first watch, you kind of got to digest it slowly to get all the small details so you don't miss anything, because there's so many layering details on each of the episodes, and it kind of like it focuses on Cross, but everybody has their segment to show their storylines. So
well, and you made an excellent point, because how they layered it lays out different motivations for each character, you know, that has something to do with him. So like he literally was like, hey, how am I going to navigate XYZ? They come into a scene with the next character. You don't know why this person's making that decision. And then 3 episodes later, now you know why.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, when I saw, as TikTok called him, Clay Aiken, hop on the screen.
Man, that dude's a great actor. I don't know why they clowning him like that.
That's what TikTok kept calling him. They said with Clay Aiken.
That's because they're too young. If they'd have been watching the Blacklist, they would have known up front.
Yeah.
The dude was about it.
Yeah.
Straight by. As soon as I saw him, I said, I guarantee I know he's one of the antagonists. I guarantee he's one.
It's so funny you say that, because like I didn't watch him in the Blacklist. I've never seen him.
Man, he was
But
cold.
the second that man got on screen, oh, by the way, semi-spoilers, forgot to say that in the beginning. The second that man got on screen, there's no way you couldn't have known that he had something to do with something. It's like, did y'all really think that the lady in Divergent was not evil? Like you could tell, you know, the vibes.
You knew right off the bat.
Yeah.
Oh, you called it?
Oh, now, obviously, you know, I saw it in kind of a different capacity a while back, but as soon as I saw him, I was like, oh, come on. This is too easy.
Yeah, when
I got nervous. Yeah, I got nervous. I was like, oh no, it's gonna be one of these shows.
Yeah. And then with the hand sanitizer, I was like, oh, he's brilliant. I said, oh, he's brilliant. Because I would have never, like, a normal person who doesn't think like an S-air is not going to think of, oh, she won't drink it, but she's going to, you know, the fact that and I didn't even know what was going on with the stalking and all of that other stuff. I had no idea what was going on until it was too late. I would have been a victim.
Oh, no.
So when he comes out, like initially how they lay the story out for you, of course, it looks pretty cut and dry. Drug dealer, blah blah blah, this and that, killed, let's move on. Let's try to figure out what we can figure out. If we can't, whatever. Then they introduce this guy, and I'm like, okay, what's his story? Why is he here?
Mhm.
And that's where I started to go, okay, there's way more to this, So as this starts to unravel, dude was like I said, he was about his mission,
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Yeah, it's one of those situations where and I'm a big advocate for villains with actual stories, for villains with actual, reasons to be why they are the way they are. But I really enjoyed in this one that the villain was the villain just because he was messed up. That's why I didn't really want to do the whole Mufasa thing, giving Scar a backstory, because sometimes people just are driven by or motivated by bad things. And I think that I think making that character's motivation simply be because that's who he is was perfect. And to me, it just added an extra layer of evilness to him that you need when you have a detective that's as decorated and respected as Cross. Like, we need a good antagonist for him, and I think he did a good job with that.
I think that was the best way to keep it simple in that situation for a story like that, because there wasn't really anything that you had to do extra for the character, because I think his performance and deliverance on what he wanted was his motivation, like you said, and there's nothing further than that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I feel like we just have to touch on the sense of brotherhood that is displayed within the show, because I feel like that is such a big aspect of it that can't be overlooked between Aldous Hodge and
John Sampson.
Yeah. I was gonna say his real name, and John Sampson. I feel like just the display of their relationship, I feel like we don't see that often in a lot of shows nowadays, especially when it highlights Black brotherhood. So I just really love their dynamic, and it really shows like the ups and downs of their relationship, but really coming back to always being there for each other. So
yeah, it was like straight to the point. They didn't cut any corners with each other. No chaser, just straight, just like, RJ and these dang insurers, just straight to the head. They just went straight to each other. So,
y'all gonna stop coming from my insurance.
Hey, those boys didn't play no games when it came to just how they dealt with one another. And I think Samson was very direct with Cross and with Alex, and just saying, look, bro, you need to figure this out. Like, I know you trying to work this, man, but you might need to sit down. And he was steadily, they were fighting each other on it, but it kind of came to a head as
that's brotherhood, and especially that's Black brotherhood. And I feel like that's something that we need to see a lot more of. We don't normally get like strong male Black friendships seen in a positive light. Either, like we talked about earlier with Black shows, a lot of time the negativity is the thing that's highlighted. That's the thing that's showcased. Oh, we about to go do a drive-by. We about to go sell these drugs. It's never two Black men helping each other be better people. There's never two Black men helping each other be accountable for the decisions that they make, for calling each other not out, but calling each other in and repairing things and having dialogue and, just being, actual good friends to each other. So that's one thing on the show. Besides the wardrobe, I can't tell you how many times I screenshotted something that Aldous Hodge had on. I tried to find it, and I could only find knockoffs, so I'm very irritated. So if we could find out who the wardrobe director of that is, because he had a sweater on that I really want to wear. It was the gray one with the little hoodie and a thing like that. I would rock that, but I can't find it, and I don't want to get the knockoff. I want to get the actual one. So if you're watching,
so what you need to do is screenshot it.
I did.
Do Google Lens.
It wouldn't come up. All it was coming up was the knockoff ones, and I was very upset because I had a whole fit plan. Like, I had the knockoff one, and I have a cardigan. Like, I was gonna kill that, but I can't find it. So if you guys are watching this, I really enjoyed the Black brotherhood aspect, but I also enjoyed the wardrobe. So if someone could reach out to me and tell me what sweater that was exactly, I'd really appreciate it.
So crazy enough, though, even when we talk about the brotherhood, that was actually some stuff going on with them and Bobby Trey too, because when before they knew how everything was kind of tied together, they ended up having some conversations, and even when they had him cornered, they had some stuff, had some conversations about why he was doing what he was doing.
Yeah.
So there were some things in his backstory that I'm interested to see kind of going forward, if anything's going to happen with that and all, because his character was very interesting to me. I'm gonna be honest with you.
I think he was the most
Everybody was-
interesting character, actually.
Yeah.
I think I would love to see a season 2, like Gerald said, with his character kind of unpacked more, because like I get it, the money's I get why he did the things that he did, but then I'm just like, you almost just as messed up as Clay. Like you're almost just as messed up as him. But I think it'll be good for a season 2. I hope it come back for a season 2, and it kind of fleshes out the characters more, so we get to see like more of their backstories.
So they did. So just as a heads up, they did greenlight season 2. I just don't know. So I think they greenlit it like a week after. But I hope that what they set up, they stick to it, because they did say that there was going to be consequences for what happened. But he was still getting paid. So that's where, so supposedly, I think they're going to try to set some stuff up to where Bobby Tray's going to have some more stakes, but I think he's going to play his cards close to the vest, and there's still going to be a lot of cat and mouse stuff with him, because his character was very intriguing to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Overall, I can't wait to see a season 2. I feel like the show definitely set up. I feel like the show has set themselves up for at least 4 to 5 seasons of Cross. I feel like they could do a good job of keeping everybody's characterizations fleshed out, and they make them like onions, give them layers, and we keep adding on. I feel like they can stretch this out. I don't want to see a 3-season, 2-season. I'm over it. We've been there, done that. We're already not going to get 22 episodes. At least give us, 4 seasons minimum. But I definitely enjoyed season 1. I cannot wait to see where the show goes and how it grows in the writing. Also, before we get out of here, I just want to compliment you guys on the lighting for the show. I had to go back and watch, but my critique originally was it felt like everybody was a floating head, like they only lit them from the torso up. But when I went back and I thought about Issa Rae's movie with the gentleman when she did that romantic comedy, I think.
Oh,
Yeah, the lighting is very similar. And I have to remember that they're lighting Black people, and rather than certain lights wash our skin out. And so I feel like they had to light it that way in order for us to be able to, in order for them to keep a certain tone. But overall, I enjoyed Cross season 1. Let us know down below in the comment section what you thought about it. Don't forget to like, share, and most importantly, subscribe. Later days.
Mm-hmm.